and welcome to a pink version of the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. That's right, pink, as in perimeter medical imaging. On the TSX Venture Exchange in Toronto, it is the PINK, P-I-N-K, and it is Jeremy Sabota, the CEO. They operate out of Dallas, Texas, and Toronto. And you can catch Jeremy on an interview with Jody Vance elsewhere around us on this Equity.Guru site, which is pretty wicked cool. Speaking of pretty wicked cool, Pink itself, this company, and Chris Perry, the man who's about to tell you about it.
So we've talked about Pink a few times in the past. In a nutshell, the technology is, let's say Nana's gone in for breast cancer surgery. Doctor's got a pretty good idea of where he wants to snip to get it all to cancer, but not a total idea, in as much as generally what they do is they take a little bit more than they think they need to, send it away to the lab to make sure they've got everything. If the lab says you might have missed a bit there, they put Nana back under and they go in for more. Now, what perimeter medical imaging does is it has technology that scans the area more or less as the doctor goes. So you can get a better view of exactly what's required, not have to go in a second or even third time, not take more than is necessary, better outcomes for the patient, better outcomes for insurance, for families, and for Nana. So I kind of like that. I like being able to make money on something that actually is, to a point, curing cancer, rather than just holes in the ground that might produce some death at some point or other. If I look at the share chart for Pink, I'm pretty happy about it on another area, and that is that we keep telling you it's good, and if you buy into it, you've been making money. We don't really need to go much deeper than that. It's just a good company doing good things with good technology, putting it all together, and the runs are on the board. And I have COVID, and I can't talk anymore. Bye.
I guess, Gail, you could touch on the fact that there's two main products, the S series and the B series of the optical coherence tomography.
Yeah, basically the company uses a system which uses optical coherence tomography, which is basically radar with light, to visualize the tissue in surrounding the tumors. They have two systems. One is the S series, one is the B series. The S series is a unit that, and we should all have specialties before trying to use this stuff, but it requires a surgeon who is familiar with the whole process of identifying cancerous tissue in comparison to regular tissue, but it provides them a much cleaner, better defined picture than old technologies that were available. And what's really nice is it gives it to them right there on the surgical room, in the surgical room, before they have to send the patient out the door and go, hey, we missed something, we got to bring you back. Because 1 in 4 of these operations typically end up having to do reoperations, which is costly. And it also affects the recovery of the patient, because basically they sit around with this stuff still inside of them doing its work, and also the stress level. It's hard enough to live with what's going on, and then to have to go in and out and go like, I don't know if it got fixed. I'm still living with that stress level, and it has been correlated that stress does affect the recovery from diseases such as cancer. So realistically, it's trying to put these people in a much better situation, giving the surgeons a much better ability to capture and extract all of the tissue at once. The S series, as I said, is the unit without this AI implement. The AI implement that sits in, this Atlas AI that they have, is a proprietary system that scans thousands, hundreds and thousands of photos, and basically through machine learning understands what basically that these tissues that are corrupted, for lack of a better description, and they can say, hey, that stuff right there, that should be taken out. So immediately confirmed by the surgeon who's sitting there at the surgery table. It actually, to a certain extent, provides like a second opinion right there in the surgery room. So this is a really great technology. Now they have gone out and done their work. They're not just going, look, we've got this thing that might work and it's going to be fantastic, and we sort of figured out the AI, and we just need you to keep funding us for the next 10 years so we can just sit on our asses. No, these guys are actually getting it out the door. They managed to get the first commercial implementation of the S series into an operating room. So these doctors, and much of this stuff is done through reputation and word of mouth and relationships with the hospitals and the healthcare systems. They've got guys looking over their shoulder and women looking over their shoulder. I'm sorry, they've got other surgeons, there we go, looking over their shoulder going, that's some pretty cool shit. This could really advance what I'm doing. And the nice thing about the S series, it's not specific to breast cancer, which is really what they're tackling with the AI series that they're dealing with right now. This allows for all sorts of other operations, other types of cancers, anything where you need to check margin tissue to make sure that you're getting what you need to get. So this really does open the door business-wise for this company tremendously. So this is already out the door, feeding the public and getting going. Now they have the B series, which they call the breast series. Basically, this is teamed with the AI that's very specifically looking for breast tissue that is tumorous and malignant and things that need to get removed. And this is going to speed the process up because it sort of takes a lot of the legwork to a certain extent, not away from the doctor, but sort of companion to the doctor or the surgeon that's doing the operation, and allows for greater accuracy and also speed of diagnosis. And this has just achieved its second clinical installation. This has already been fast-tracked by the FDA as a necessary medical device, which means this thing's going to get pushed through fairly quickly because they understand what it's doing and how it can impact breast surgery. This is some really good technology, and the AI is absolutely phenomenal. Now, the nice thing about the AI is that later on down the road, this can also be put into other disease characteristics. It can be made to take a look at pancreatic cancer. It can be made to look at 100 different types of cancers. So this can grow at a tremendous rate. This really isn't just one specific thing, even though it's really a killer application for that one specific thing. It can actually grow into many different applications. Now, the sweet spot for this company is that it's got a good amount of cash already in the kitty. It's operating with revenue coming through the door. It's ready to go. It's building its sales force. And guess what just happened? It pulled in over $40 million from Mr. Chamath, who everybody remembers as being the SPAC king. Thank God he's actually doing this instead of creating some other useless fucking company. But he's actually putting in some money into this venture that's really going to make a difference. And this is the seed money that they need to kick this sucker down the road to make it work. Right? They've already got everything to place. They just need to build their sales team, the relationships, and get the sales happening. And 2022 is going to be a fucking awesome year for this company. And I can see nothing but blue sky for them. There we go.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah.
I like your analogy too, the real-time second opinion, like a technical real-time second opinion. Like
absolutely.
Telling the doctor what's going on. But for those people that are looking over their shoulders, though, we just hope they're not eating junior mints. That's a little bit of a Seinfeld reference right there. By the way, each person gets $7,500 to spend. And before we do that, though, they got to know what they're spending it on. And that's why Vishal is going to tell us about the charts.
Boom. I mean, wild day, wild chart. You know, we've talked about this company a few times, and I think, you know, we all got to give ourselves a pat on the shoulders because I still have our technicals here. We talked about this trend line back in fall of 2021. We talked about that breakout at $2.60. I believe we even talked about that breakout of this trend line here as well. So we've given plenty of calls and opportunities for investors to jump into this company. Huge day here, obviously, on the 15th of December with a big 71% gain, seeing the stock gap up on the open from $3.40 up to all-time record highs of $5.20. And as Galen mentioned, it's because of Mr. Chamath Palihapitiya, and you know, he's known as the SPAC king. He's made a pretty big killing on Tesla. He was, I believe, the CEO of Virgin Galactic for a bit there as well, and he is the CEO of Social Capital, which basically invests in transformational technology. And you know, here's the guy himself taking a look at Perimeter's technology. Some of you might recognize him, but he's you know, he shows up a lot on CNBC, and I was quite surprised by this news. I mean, it's really big because this guy's quite a big guy up there in the tech space, and an upcoming, I guess, hedge fund manager that a lot of the young folks, right, the retail crowd, they do look up to this guy. And of course, he owns a basketball team, so that's always a nice little thing as well. But the stock itself, after that breakout, we have been drifting here a bit lower. And I just want to talk quickly here about the level that Social Capital got in. They did get in $43.4 million at a price of $3 per share. And there's also warrants here, I believe, for 60 days at $3.99 and $4.50. I'm thinking they might have exercised those warrants just to take some profits while we were above those levels there. But again, Social Capital's in at $3. We're at 381. I have my support here actually at $3.20. So I would love to see price come down to 320 because I think the closer you get to $3, it's quite a nice entry there, getting in close to Social Capital there. But I don't know if that happens. The stock itself is actually in this last few weeks here, it's holding up relatively well compared to a lot of other ugly looking charts out there. So that could be something. You have a big name again like Chamath behind this, and it is a $3.80 company. And with a name like that, it is going, with a name like Chamath behind the company and Social Capital behind it, they are going to be getting a lot of catalysts. Things are going to be moving. They have the cash as well. But the day after is when they actually announced their first clinical study opening here at, where is this, in Tennessee. It was on the 16th of December. So the day after the news came out, and I think we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of these clinical trial sites opening around the country. And as Galen said, they're getting quite fast-tracked with the FDA there in the States. It's looking really good for the company, honestly. And with the company, when Social Capital got in, obviously we have a really big price, big candle like this. So every time you get closer to $3, I'm thinking this is a buy. You're getting in as close to Chamath as possible. And I just don't know if we're going to get down to 320. If we do, I'd love that. But on the other side, I think if we do break here above the 415 level, maybe we should just call it 420 for fun. But if we get above 415 here, I think it's a new uptrend. We're going to continue. Well, I mean, it's already in an uptrend, but I think it's just going to mean we're going to be likely taking out these previous highs here of 520 without any sort of pullback back to 320 where the stock gapped up and broke out of. So I'm bullish the stock above 320, and I think it's a good buy here.
All right, CP Guru, the Guru himself goes first. You got $7,500 each, and are you going to buy at this range, or are you thinking it's going to slippy dip just a wee bit? You're muted. That's all right.
All right, I've been saving you from COVID coughs. I'll tell you what's been happening here is that big jump to 520 was all that Chamath needed to start selling stock down to the 390 warrant purchase point. The fact that it's held up pretty well from that point means to me that there's still upward pressure that's been counteracted by an insider selling stock to buy warrants and make a further fortune. If he's buying warrants, that means more cash to the company. It also means more likely there's a thought there that this thing will go higher. So if you go back to September, we told you at $1.80 this was a good buy. If you go back to November at 280, we told you it was a good buy. It's now 380. You've either been listening to us or you're not. If you're not, then carry on, find your favorite cannabis stock. But if you are listening, man, I'm all in on 380. I don't think this thing has been invested $43 million into to go down. I think that there's something here that $43 million is going to be put towards growing. And if it wasn't a good company before, it's a hell of a good company now.
All right. Cash money?
Cash money. All in.
Galen, sorry. Cash money?
You know what? Chris convinced me. He swung me. I'm notoriously cheap. I would have I would have gone in at 55.6 and went, yeah. But fuck it. Here we go. 7,500. This
Get
is
on the train.
this is a great fucking company. I know that Vishal had made mention that they could cycle back down to 320, but I really think it's hit a new trend. It's actually, I think it's not going to return to that level.
No.
I think we've hit a new reality with this company, and right now we're ranging on the bottom end. So it's got nothing to do but go up. The nice thing about this is it's not just, hey, speculation, buy some more of this stock. The reason is its performance has got nowhere to go but up. So
it's not going to run out of cash.
Yeah, and it's got good support and confident support. So I think this is a great vehicle, especially for getting long-term value out of it. It's not something to trade. I'm never big on those. I think they're just ridiculous and give you fucking headaches. So get in on this if you feel like you want to move long-term, and it'll produce pretty well. But it's not going to be, of course, some ridiculous fucking NFT. It's going to move at a rate that's commensurate with the actual production value that goes behind the company. Same thing with Plurilock, so which we had talked about in a previous segment. So the thing is that I think we should jump all in. 75. As we go. There it is, man.
All right. And Vishal, before you decide and let us know whether you're doing the clean sweep, what was the time period? I can't really make it out from where I'm sitting, where it was way down at the dippity-do. Where was that at the bottom? Like, yeah.
September. I think we did a show about that around that time when we did call that as a nice sort of support zone around there.
This is a lot of Equity.Guru love coming back to help this company over the span of multiple visits. That's pretty cool. Yep. All right, what are you doing? Vishal?
I'm going all in as well.
There you go.
Oh my God!
And yeah, you gotta have like some sort of alarm or something go on in the show, right? When I'm going in, like that price is
going off, sirens happening.
I think it's only happened This is the third time.
This might be third or second. I'm not sure.
So we should have a bell or a buzzer. Or
I'll make that happen next show. We'll make that.
Let's get one of those little New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Little klaxon going off in the background.
You know, it might be a bit of a surprise for some of some of our followers, but this is one where I just don't think you wait for some sort of retracement or something. I think this is one, for the long term. You have a big name like Chernat Social Capital. They've done their due diligence. This is a transformational technology disruption play, and I think there's going to be much more catalysts now coming down the road. Especially since they're working with social capital, but they're going to have a lot of cash as well. And I think this is one where it's not even worth waiting for some sort of like pullback or retracement. This is one where you go in knowing that the technology is great and it has a transformational aspect, and it's going to help a lot of people, right? Feel good play as well, and I think there's a new uptrend here. There's a new uptrend, and the future looks bright for this company. So don't even really look at these pullbacks. I mean, it would be great places to add to our positions, obviously, but I think, as of now, I'm going all in, and I believe in the long term for this company.
We should also point out that Equity.Guru was part of the putting together of that Chamath deal. Yes. So, we're not just about telling people about things we like, but behind the scenes, helping those companies get to where they need to be.
There you go.
Damn right.
We must say this, however, that past performance does not guarantee future results. That's just a fact of life in everything, but particularly in the stock markets. It is PINK, and it's on the TSX Venture Exchange under Jeremy Sabota, the CEO, in Toronto and Dallas. And these fellas think it's kicking ass. The fellas here can't guarantee everything, but they're pretty happy about it. For Vishal upstairs. Oh, by the way, go ahead and do your own research and homework. Is what I'm trying to say, because we can't guarantee you anything. So do that. Vishal's upstairs. Chris is over in the far corner, about to pass out from COVID. And to my left in the basement, we're gonna make some whiskey downstairs tonight, aren't we?
Bathtub whiskey.
Bathtub whiskey in the basement. Got to celebrate the 22.5 we just spent.
Yeah.
That's Galen. And we'll all see you on the very next Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. Cheers.